Moms are hardcore.
Hello and welcome to Moms of Flavor Town.
Deedly, deedly, deedly doo.
I am Rachel.
I'm Debbie.
And today we have a very exciting guest on the podcast. You know him from beating Bobby Flay twice on Iron Chef America and then again on Beat Bobby Flay. He went up against Tiffany Dairy on TOC4 and then came back from the qualifiers for TOC7 and beat legend Jonathan Waxman in the main bracket. You can eat at his Pretty Bird restaurants all over Salt Lake City. He's a proud cat dad of Flavor Town. Please welcome to the pod, Viet Pham.
Hey! Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, finally.
So excited to have you on, honestly. Like, we have always rooted for you, and we're just so thrilled you could be here.
Yeah, and you said that you were flying today, right? Can you share anything about where you were?
Yeah, I actually just got back from LA. I got in around 1:30, got home at 2, tried to get in a quick nap, hence my hair. and here I am. Yeah, so, I was in LA for 2 reasons. One was business, and it wasn't TV related. 2 was my in-laws. So my wife, Alexis, her and her family are from Rancho Palos Verdes, which is in LA County. So I got to hang out the weekend there, and it was great. It's good to be back. Awesome. But it's like 100 degrees here in Salt Lake City right now. It's hot.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Is that normal for the summer there?
Yeah, it's, so a week ago, we just had our record hottest day in like 70 years or so. It was up to 9 degrees.
Jesus.
But, usually it's, August, like July to late August, we get like triple digit days.
Wow.
It's a little bit early this year, I feel like. A lot of things came in a lot earlier this year because of the dry weather. We've had, fires and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind the heat so much. I actually kind of enjoy it. But then again, I'm also inside. So
I don't mean to, we have like a whole list of questions for you, but what brought you to Salt Lake City? Because you were from California?
Yeah. Northern
by
California.
way of yeah.
Yeah, great question. I tell people like I didn't choose Utah. Utah chose me. I was in finance at the time. I was working for a software company in Palo Alto, and I met this guy who's from Provo, Utah, which is where BYU is, and he got to experience a lot of different restaurants and lounges living in the Bay Area at the time. So he learned about my experience in the food industry and asked if I would be willing to move to Utah and help him open up a restaurant. So at that time, I was 29 years old. I wanted to find a way to get back in the food industry, 1, but 2, I wanted to escape the Bay Area bubble. So Utah was just like the perfect opportunity at that time. And fast forward, I've been here now for 18 plus years, and I love it. But at the same time, I'm slowly trying to find my way back to California. Southern California, one of the beach cities. As much as I love it here, one of my biggest concerns in Utah is the environmental factors, mainly air quality. Quality is getting worse and worse, and our Great Salt Lake is shrinking, and I've dealt with some health issues in the past, and when you deal with these certain things, you just become more conscientious of it. And for myself, a Southeast Asian person, I found out that we do not do well in high desert climates. A good friend of mine is just, your body ends up attacking itself.
Right.
So the longest time that I've lived here, I've always have had issues with like my skin, with breathing. I've only been able to like breathe out of one nostril. And then when I go back to like California or anywhere else where there's a high amount of humidity, like it drastically changes for the better.
Wow.
Yeah. So like my time here is limited in the sense that, I do plan on moving away, but I still want to live here part-time because I really absolutely love Utah.
Yeah.
Did you ever, can I ask, sorry, not to be gauche, but can I ask like the elephant in the room question about Utah is, are you in the church or anything, or?
No, I'm not part of the church.
Yeah.
You know, when I first moved out here, the closest to the church that I got to, there's three things. When I told my friends that I was leaving California and moving to Utah, they all got together and got me a book called Mormonism for Dummies. In the church. And then when I moved here, I went to church, a couple handfuls of times because I really wanted to immerse myself in the culture and like really understand it, because
Sure.
I was living in Provo at the time, and Provo was predominantly LDS, back in 2008. Three, when I dated a girl that was a Mormon, and that was the church. So no, I'm not LDS. I grew up Buddhist, but I also went to Catholic church because my cousins were the other side of my family were Catholic. So, and now I'm Greek Orthodox, which is very similar to Catholic. Yeah.
Do you practice? Sorry, Debbie, you go.
Well, this was not a religion question, but as a reality TV person living in Utah, have you heard about this theory about why Salt Lake City based television shows are like the craziest?
I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe the altitude. But fun fact: my mother is a housewife of Salt Lake City.
Oh my gosh, we are huge fans of the show.
My godmother is, and as of this morning and yesterday, she and her husband has been all over the tabloids. Godmother is Angie RHSLC. And
oh my gosh.
That her and Sean split up. It's confirmed on TMZ and Page 6. So it's kind of heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not it's true, but yeah, I mean, that's a fun fact for you guys. My godmother.
She's one of the best, she's one of the more sane one. I mean, the most sane one probably on there, to be honest.
I'm obviously biased, but Angie and Sean, they work from the bottom to the top. They have a very successful business, and I have been going to their salon for many, many years. I've worked out with Sean for a long time, and my wife and I have also been on one of the episodes of Housewives. It was the Greek Easter episode a couple seasons ago. It's a wild franchise. It's not like TLC, it's wild, but we've had our fair share of it. And from what I've heard, there are Top Chef scouts here in town.
Wow!
Whoa,
okay.
That would be amazing. A Salt Lake City Top Chef would be so good. Yeah,
it's gorgeous there.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And it's funny too. Well, so the theory is that because of global warming and Salt Lake drying up, it's releasing all these older chemicals and toxins and stuff that haven't been exposed in a long time, and that's why it's
all crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's I've never heard of that before.
It's a fun little Reddit hole you can go down if you want to.
I've never heard of that rumor. I mean, that's some interesting facts there. I mean, if you consider it facts, yeah.
Right.
Have you ever encountered, in your restaurants or anything, any of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast?
They have been into Pretty Bird.
Ooh.
They don't tag Pretty Bird because we don't pay them.
Rude.
Seen their posts because people would forward the posts to me.
Yeah.
My wife is a fan. She's a fan of all of those trash television shows.
So are we.
She loves them. But, I know for a fact that they have been because I've seen the posts and we've reposted them before. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so me and Debbie, we obviously love food TV, but we love all TV, and our podcast often bleeds into these other areas. So we're thrilled to discuss this with you.
Yes.
It's very exciting. So we've DM'd with you a bunch. What brought you to the podcast originally? Just us tagging you or things like that?
Yeah. I'm fairly new on TOC. This last season that I did was my second season doing it. The previous seasons, I've been asked to do it, but I had contracts working different events, so I wasn't able to do it. So
Mhm.
this year it's going to come back, and I was free, and I had to go through the qualifiers. But yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time on Reddit, just trying to see what people say about me, what people say about the
Mhm.
shows, and like you want to keep tabs on everything.
Yeah.
If people are spreading bad rumors, then I'm going to find a way to correct them.
I
It's a
can't imagine people would have bad rumors about you.
I mean, there has been in the past.
Rude.
Yeah, there has been in the past. When I first the first show that I ever did with Food Network was back in 2012.
Uh-huh.
It was a show called Extreme Chef,
Uh-huh.
and it was a second season. The previous season were just one-off episodes. The
Mhm.
second season, they did a whole season of it,
Mhm.
and I was a young chef at the time, and I don't know if you guys watched 24 and 24.
Yes.
So I myself was very, very much like Alex Stupak at
Mhm.
that time. I just had this ego, and a lot of people did not like me. There's you either like me or you don't, and most
Right.
people like me. So I've grown into who I am, and
Mhm.
also into my television personality. But at the end of the day, I'm really just the same person through and through. I'm just a lot more aware, a lot
Mhm.
conscious of what I'm saying and doing.
Well,
I mean,
the work has paid off, because I was going to
Yeah.
say, like, I'm shocked to hear that you were like that back then, because you seem like just such a like chill, awesome guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well,
I
thank
mean, I was gonna say that there's like, so I feel like so many young chefs are like that, right? Where they have like the huge ego and they're kind of a-holes. And I feel like if we didn't have people on TV when they're in that phase of their life, like there would be like less good like food. Like you need to have that guy on Chop that you're like, I effing hate this guy. You know what I mean?
Wait, can I?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And Rachel, you're censoring yourself. It's very funny.
Oh.
I just noticed that you're like,
say fuck this guy.
Like back then, like food television was fairly, I want to say it was still somewhat new in a sense to me,
Mhm.
because like I was the type of chef back then where um I wanted to protect my street cred, and being on network or TV shows, I would lose a lot of that.
Mm.
Having this ego kind of like I felt like it's kind of like a way of preserving who you are as a chef and who you think you are at that time. So I think that's why I was the way I was.
Yeah.
But now, nowadays it's the whole industry has changed so much, and
Mhm.
it has helped
Well,
shape a
let's
lot of that.
let's rewind a little bit because I am fascinated to know how you started cooking, then how you became in finance, and then how you got back to cooking. So, what made you become a chef initially?
What made me become a chef? So you know I I always loved to cook. I just cooked just because it was fun and it was a
Mhm.
hobby. I never thought that I was going to have or make a career out of it. Like the summers when we barbecue, I would always be the one that's barbecuing because I was the one that was watching the PBS cooking shows, and everyone else was just like, whatever, let him do it. It wasn't until I got really bored in college and I needed to take a break. I
Mhm.
was going to San Jose State at the time. I needed a break, so I ended up enrolling myself into culinary school. It was at that time called the California Culinary Academy in San Francisco. And I went to school there for like a year and 2 months, and that's including my externship.
Mhm.
To be honest, I don't feel like I learned anything in culinary school. It was a waste of time. In fact, I actually spent a lot of time surfing and not going to school, and
Well, that sounds fun.
I had to redo my baking and pastry class, which cost me money because I. But what I am grateful for is that through the process, you're required to do an externship, and I landed an externship with a very prominent young French chef coming out of New York at that time.
Mhm.
His name was Gras. So I worked with
Mhm.
him at a restaurant called the Fifth Floor. Prior to that, he was at Peacock Alley at the Waldorf Astoria in New
Wow.
York.
Mhm.
So I worked with him, and then I worked with him as an intern, and then I ended up working him for almost 3 years. And I just got burnt out.
Mhm.
I was I was only 23 at the time or so, and I was burnt out because I was commuting from San Jose to San Francisco each day, and I was working 6 days a week and literally getting paid nothing,
Mhm.
you know. But during that time, that short time, I knew that cooking was something that I would probably do for the rest of my life. But then I got burnt out,
Mhm.
and then I went back to school, and then from there, I ended up, just going through the motions of my, like just ended up going back into finance and then landed a job with a software company after leaving a bank job. I just got caught up into it, and I just thought that, I was going to be happier doing this because I was making more money. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy at all.
Yeah.
I just had this longing, and the longing became stronger and stronger every day to find a way to get back into cooking, because that was the only time that I actually felt free. And
Mhm.
I fought harder each day to be better during those 3 years than any other time in my whole life, So I just knew that I had to reconnect. So when this opportunity came up for me to move to Utah, I'm just like, I'm going to do it. I've never opened a restaurant, and honestly, I probably am not qualified, but this guy believes in me. I'm going to do it. So I ended up in Utah, actually April 30th of 2008.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you said that was right before you were on that first Food Network show?
No, the Food Network, I didn't even end up on the the Food
Mhm.
Network radar until shortly after 2011. So
Oh, okay.
2011, I got Food and Wine Magazine's Best New Chef. And
Ooh.
that changed my whole life.
Mhm.
Like as a young chef, that was the one award that a lot of chefs at that time just really really aimed for.
Mhm.
You look at the best chefs in the country are part of this class, and each year, Food and Wine picks 10 people
Mhm.
from the United States, Puerto Rico, and I believe in Puerto Rico, and like Thomas Keller, Danielle Boulud, some of the best chefs are part of that class. So when I got that, I had producers reaching out. And then I got my first shot at TV, and that was Extreme Chef. And I forgot how many episodes there were, but the premise of the show was basically you're an extreme chef.
Mhm.
And the first episode, they put us out in the Salton Sea,
Oh,
which
wow.
is which is in Southern California, but it's in the desert. It's like
Uh-huh.
it's like the Salt Lake, basically. But it was built by I think the Army Corps, and it was once a thriving like oasis where all the people would come there and like vacation, and then the water became really salty, and then
Mm.
now it's just like it's just I think there's like a lot of drug addicts and stuff that live out there. They had us go out there, and like the first episode was coined as apocalyptic. It was like an apocalyptic like cookout or something like that. So
Mhm.
we had to go rummage through this community and find like canned foods, and then we had to make makeshift grills using shopping carts and all that stuff.
Mm.
Was
Yeah,
it like, it was supposed to be like Mad Max, the
yeah,
cooking
it was
show?
totally like that. Yeah, so like we filmed there. We filmed in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I was wearing this Coast Guard Mustang suit, swimming
Wow.
out to a sized boat, grabbing food, and swimming back into shore and
Oh
like
my
building,
gosh.
cooking. And then we ended up there, and then I ended up in like northern and southern Thailand, and I was riding elephants in the jungle, cooking in the middle of a river, and
That's
then
cool.
finally. Yeah, the finale, I was the runner-up, ended up cooking. We had to run up like 1,000 steps in this Buddhist temple that was absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was my first taste. And
Who was the winner of that show? Is it someone that we know?
his name is Terry something, I forgot. He was an
Mhm.
older guy, um, and I've lost touch with him.
Yeah.
The person that I met on there that I guess I made the biggest impact on was Simon Majumdar. He
Oh,
was a
that's so
guest
funny.
judge for a couple of the episodes, and then the network liked him so much that he ended up going all the way to the end
Uh-huh.
with that. When I came back, he introduced me to his manager, and his manager at that time was John Tomko, and then he flew out to 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 Salt Lake City, dined at my restaurant at the time,
Mhm.
ended up signing me on, and he's
Wow.
like, you ever heard of Iron Chef? I'm like, who hasn't? Iron Chef. And this was probably like in May, or this is in April or May, just right after I got back from shooting Extreme Chef.
Wow.
And he's like, I'm going to get you on. I'm like, yeah, right. And then a couple months later, I get a phone call. You got 3 days there. You're going to be on Iron Chef. Yeah. So
it's almost like Food Network is like, oh, we know Viet can do this. So what are the most extreme shows that we can throw him on? Like between that and like 24 and 24 and like all these like insane shows.
I love those insane shows because like I really I've always been very competitive growing up. I have a younger brother, so you're gonna have younger, and between like mountain biking, hiking, camping, being in Boy Scouts, like I was very competitive and I just loved pushing myself to the limit. So being able to do some of these shows where they put me in obscure places or, it was just like, it was perfect for me. And like to this day, I'm like, like if anybody produces a show like that, count me in. I'm up.
I love that.
When you were on Iron Chef America, did you really get to choose which Iron Chef you went up against, or is that like produced?
So it was produced. So at that time, I think I was season 9 or season 10. I forgot. But the Iron Chefs, their schedules were so busy that you no longer have the ability to choose.
Yeah.
You don't find out who you're going up against until literally a few minutes before you walk through.
Oh my gosh.
You have to act, but you still have to act like you're picking them.
Yeah. So you have to pick them. Yeah. But like, so my choice would have been Masahara Morimoto.
Yeah.
I really wanted because I thought he was like the best chef. But at that time, the biggest I think the biggest personality on Iron Chef America was Bobby Flay because there's like some controversial episodes of him, jumping on the table and breaking cutting boards and stuff and pissing Morimoto up. So, like going against him was probably a lot better for me as far as I don't know, just building like a how do I say that? I guess it was just better publicity for me. Go up against Bobby Flay.
It's your lore. It's your lore now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you make your name by beating Bobby Flay, and I totally forgot this until I was researching you, that you were on season 9 of Next Food Network Star, the one that was eventually won by Damaris Phillips. I watched that season so long ago. What was your concept that you were pitching?
Gosh, what was my point of view? What was my point of view?
Yeah,
I think my point of view was being able to like utilize what was it? It was being able to utilize lesser ingredients and then making them great, So at that time, the restaurant was Forage, and Forage was like this. It was like coined the French Laundry of Utah. We were the menu restaurants, and I foraged for a lot of ingredients.
Cool.
And, aside from just being really poor and not having a lot of money, having a restaurant, we can go out and like buy expensive ingredients. We really just kind of looked in our backyard and we found ingredients that, everybody had access to, but really didn't know how to have access to it.
Sure.
Everybody in the farmer's market or getting it from the purveyors, but we were able to get certain ingredients that no one was familiar with and then build a narrative on that. So with that, I kind of tie that into my point of view, instead of just using the carrot, you could use the carrot tops and everything else with it, kind of like the Dan Barber-esque style of cooking. But yeah, so that was my point of view. And speaking of which, when I go on to a lot of these Food Network shows, now a lot of the shows, like most of the competitors, I want to say probably at least 75% of the people are all from Bravo. There's very few of us that are like OGs from Food Network Star days. I think it's just myself, Damaris. Who else is on there?
Artie.
Yeah, Artie and I, we talk about it all the time, because we're like, geez, the Food Network.
Justin Warner.
Yeah.
Justin Warner.
Yep. Justin Warner.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Next Food Network Star was one of these. I feel like it wasn't as successful as it should have been because I feel like it's only like the really hardcore Food Network heads that love that show, you know? And I was looking at your cast, and one of my favorite contestants of all time, kind of as a joke, was on your season, was Pie Style. Um, Me and my husband, if someone's wearing a hat
Rodney
now,
Henry.
we will say if we just like see someone out in the street and they're wearing a fedora, we'll be like, "Oh, that guy's Pie Style." Like,
He was, he was like the funniest, most outrageous guy. You know, you can only understand probably 30% of what he says because he's like the rambling pie guy. You know, it's so funny. About a year ago, he was actually in town with his son and he hit me up and he came by
Oh,
and like we were
cool.
in the house for a little bit. You know, that's awesome. Yeah. Rodney Henry. I think it's Rodney Henry. Yeah, he's such a good guy. Such a good, yeah.
so did Food Network Star like open up doors for you at Food Network, or what happened after that was over?
So, Extreme Chef, I was the runner up, and then
Hmm.
shortly in Iron Chef America and won Iron Chef America. I was
Hmm.
on the high. Like I was a cook. I knew how to cook, and that's all I knew, and I did so well on the last two shows. And then all of a sudden, I got casted for Food Network Star. I'm like, it can't be that hard because
Yeah.
I've already did these two other shows,
Right.
and like I didn't go to school to become an actor or to be on TV. I went to school to be a chef and then to crunch some numbers and make some spreadsheets. So when I got onto the show, I really didn't do any research on the show. I just remember that Guy was on the show, and I knew that it was like Food Network's marquee show. So I remember just going on the show, just thinking like, you know what, I'm going to kick all of these people's asses because I know how to cook. And I remember the first episode, they introduce all of us on, and then all of a sudden, you have Bobby, Giada, and then Elton. They come out, and then they start to reset the cameras. And I figure like this is going to be it. We introduce ourselves. We get to go home after this, and that we're going to call it a day. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, now you guys are going to go over what your point of view is and we're going to film you. At that point, I'm like, dude, this is over. I get stage fright, I get sweaty.
Oh.
But, I made it halfway through. So yeah, I guess that says a lot. But, that was honestly probably the hardest show that I've ever done.
Really?
It put me into situations that I was not comfortable with. And being on stage and just being in front of the camera and talking, really, really hard. But I learned so much out of those 6 episodes or making it halfway
Hmm.
that it really shifted my way of thinking and how I approached a lot of these different shows, So yeah, but yeah, like the I remember I went into a boardroom and all of the executives are sitting there, and I come in and I introduce myself and I sit and they're all looking at me, just asking me some simple questions, and they all look at each other, they nod, and then that was it. I was in the show. You know, really
That must have been
bizarre.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I just had this run prior to Food Network, and then just I guess the network liked me, and then I've done probably 25 or 30 shows with Food Network.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
37.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Is that cooking and judging?
yeah, between cooking and judging. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is
Yeah.
judging more fun than cooking or the other way around?
My honest truth is because I'm so hard on myself and I know what my strengths are and my weaknesses. For me, judging is a lot harder than cooking.
Oh.
Mm.
Unless it's Tournament of Champions, then you have the randomizer, which screws it. Like you can come in being the best chef in the world. Once that randomizer starts spinning, your head starts spinning, and
Right.
it's over, right? Yeah.
So we'll talk about TOC in 1 second, but I want to ask you a question about Beat Bobby Flay first. So what was your signature dish when you beat Bobby Flay?
So when I did Beat Bobby Flay, I believe it was in we filmed it, I think January of 2018. And my restaurant, Pretty Bird, the first restaurant, opened up in February 2018. And I told myself that I'm going to battle Bobby Flay on Nashville hot fried chicken.
Ah.
I beat him in a fine dining, kind of competition already. So like now we'll do fast casual, or we'll do something that's very casual. And Bobby, he's really good at Southwestern cuisine, and he's really good with spices and all that. And this is an opportunity for me to prove to myself and the world that my fried chicken is better, but at the same this went really well. It'd be really good for Pretty Bird. If it was really bad, then oh well. It was kind of a risk. So yeah, I went in and I went against Dom Tesoro. He was a Food Network star. I think the year before or the year after me. He had like the mac and cheese truck. But we had the first battle was Manila clams. The judges were Anne Burrell and shoot, I forgot her name, but she's a famous singer. But yeah, I ended up winning against Dom, and then went against Bobby on chicken, and beat Bobby on hot chicken.
Am I remembering correctly that you also made fried chicken sandwich against Tiffany Dairy in a competition?
Yeah.
Was that TOC?
Right.
Or was that the Titans?
Triple Threat, yeah.
Yeah,
not the Triple Threat. So that was the third show that I did with Bobby, but obviously I didn't cook against Bobby. I cooked against it. But yeah, so the last round, I saved Tiffany for last because strategically, for me, I wanted to go against Tiffany because Tiffany also had a fried chicken restaurant that's been around for about a decade, and she's also really well known for her fried chicken. So I'm like, I'm going to do a fried chicken sandwich. So it worked out for me. Yeah. I mean, Tiffany did an amazing fried chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
And, I didn't get to taste it, but visually it looked really good. But at the end of the day, they voted against her. So,
I mean, so whenever we watch Triple Threat, which I love Triple Threat, when Tiffany was on, I love Tiffany so much that I always root for the challenger against Brooke and Michael, but I always root for Tiffany against the challenger.
Except for your episode, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Tiffany was, honestly, and I hope Michael and Brooke don't hate me for this, but I really thought that Tiffany was probably one of the stronger cooks.
Yeah,
Michael was kind of like out there. He's like the mad science behind the kitchen, and Brooke did really great California cuisine, but Tiffany was just so well versed in so many different cuisines, and I always thought that she did really, really well. And then now her replacement,
Aisha,
she is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But I got to judge a Bobby Triple Threat episode, and then I did another episode with Bobby that's gonna air, I guess, later this year.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait to see it. Okay, so speaking of Tiffany Dairy, in TOC 4, you lost in round 1 to Tiffany Dairy. What was that like, losing in round 1 on your first time on TOC?
Well, no one likes to lose, I just thought that this is gonna. I mean, so it was battleground beef. Yeah, and right off the bat, to me, battleground beef was like it took me back to Iron Chef because Chef was battleground meat. And
that's funny.
One of the things we used. And, I was very comfortable. I came in with a plan. I knew exactly what I was going to do. But then again, like Tiffany, she pulls all these things last minute. I mean, not last minute, it's all part of her repertoire. But she to make this sausage that had like beef liver and all that stuff in there. It was more robust. But yeah, it sucked to lose. And when she found out that she won, I remember her announcing like, "Yeah, this is for Brooke and Michael." I'm like, well, she
so
got me
funny.
back, because I was coming in hot,
right? Yeah.
But my episode of Triple Threat had just aired, and then here she is, and I'm going against her, and I was hoping that it would be a win, but unfortunately for me, I lost. So
Uh-huh. That's so funny. But you came back for
Yes.
TOC7.
And we're
You
glad
had to
you
come
did.
in through the qualifiers, and your qualifiers round this year was famously brutal. I think it was one of the hardest randomizers in the qualifier. What do you think made that randomizer so hard?
So I don't think the randomizer was so hard in the qualifiers, at least for me. What made it particularly hard was, so this is my first year doing the qualifiers. I had to sit, so I didn't battle. I was second to the last battle. So there was three cooks before my battle, 3 or 4 cooks before my battle. And I had to sit and watch through every single cook.
Oh my
And every
gosh.
time the randomizer spun, in my mind, it was spinning as well, telling myself what I'm going to do. And then I'm like deducing, these ingredients. And I think that just really messed me up, and it made it really, really hard for me because I just could not relax. So, going into the qualifiers, I think my randomizer, the protein was like a chuck roast.
Yeah.
It was a chuck roast, and I don't know.
It was blackened, and that's what everyone had such a hard time with.
Yeah, I have never blackened anything in my life. Burned something, right? So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, blackened. I'm going to use some spices, and I'm going to coat it and make it look like it's really blackened. And I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I've never cooked in a wok before in my life. And like I'm gonna stir fry this beef in this wok, and I'm gonna add a bunch of black pepper spices and make it look blackened. The problem was I had that wok on, it was really hot. I marinated the beef, and when I poured the beef in, I poured all the juices in. To caramelize and blacken as much as I wanted to. I was more focused on trying to get the flavor of the wok, the wok, than I was like trying to blacken it, So thank God my opponent, she didn't blacken her dish very well either. So in the end, it just came down to like flavor because we failed on making anything that was blackened.
That's crazy to me that you've never used a wok in a competition before.
And you're just like, I'm going to do it. TOC.
So I was talking to my friend May Lynn, and I told her what I was using. She goes, "Bruh." May, she like if you ever want the truth about anything, May's gonna tell you the truth.
I love that.
She's not gonna sugarcoat anything.
You sure?
Bruh, why the fuck did you use a wok? Get hot enough for the wok. Well, I'm like, in that moment, I thought it would be cool because I'm going to be flipping. I'm going to be
it's good TV.
Yeah, and I had a torch because like a wok burner has like these really high flames, and then built the wok, the flames come up and they burns some of those grease splatters and it flavors the food. We didn't have that, so I was like flipping the food, and I was using a torch to hopefully be able to like recreate that flavor, and I wasn't able to do that. So, but thankfully, I still won. But that's one thing that a lot of the seasoned veterans will tell you: don't use the wok.
Unless you're Jet Tila, then
there's not enough BTUs on the stove to really successfully cook a wok.
Right.
Yeah.
It looked great though. I really wanted to eat it. So
after that, the next time we went out somewhere that had it, my husband ordered shaking beef because he was like, I gotta try it because Viet was talking about it. So yeah. Okay.
Done right.
So in the main bracket, you went up against the legendary Jonathan Waxman with a fish dish, and you beat him. How did it feel to beat Jonathan Waxman?
So from an egoistic point of view, I'm like, look, I've beaten Bobby twice. Now I've beaten his mentor. That's pretty good. I'm like, this is going to be a wonderful story to tell people. The truth is, Jonathan Waxman, he's an amazing chef. He's forefathers, of in my opinion, of cuisine here in the United States. And some of the best people like Bobby Flay worked under him. and consider him a mentor. But at the same time, he's a lot older now, so he's not going to be as nimble in the kitchen as I am, who's 47 years old. So I did feel like I had an advantage in that sense, and because I had an advantage, it almost felt like it wasn't fair. Does that make sense? I feel very proud that I won, but at the same time, there's like this guilt where I felt like maybe he should have been given like extra time.
Yeah.
But
well, that's not TOC, baby.
Yeah.
like a win is a win, but at the end of the day, did I walk away feeling like I was super proud and I was pumping my chest? Not really, because like if he was like 15 years younger, then it just felt like I had an upper hand, and it was an advantage for me. As much as I was proud, I didn't feel like I was like as pumped as I should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, when we saw that the whole thing was that it was like these legends that were coming on, we were like kind of talking. I think Rachel, you and I talked about it on the podcast about how the people that they picked, or like whoever was able to come for those episodes, like it did seem a little strange that some of these folks were cooking in this manner. Like they probably were just like, fuck it, let's just, like,
because it's.
I thought one of the guys was just totally laid back. He's like, I'm gonna do a little this, little that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he took it seriously, but like again, he doesn't want to deal with the stress. He's done all that.
Right.
Yeah, they're all, most of the legends were out of practice competing, and most of the people on TOC are in like the height of their competition experience right now. So
and this particular season, I don't know what came over me, and I don't know why I decided to take these risks, but I don't cook Vietnamese food. Like the first time that I cooked Vietnamese food was honestly, when I really had to cook Vietnamese food was like probably this season of TOC.
Wow.
Vietnamese, and like I don't typically do that, and I don't really I don't cook it at home, and I don't really have like a deep understanding of like Vietnamese cooking. But I just decided that hey, I'm gonna do it because like I know in the past strategically, like if you use a lot of Asian flavors, it tends to do a lot better, especially in the beginning.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Otis. He's home from camp. Wait, can you go back to Daddy?
Yeah, so I definitely should have played the game a little bit different, but like when you're on that game and when you're on that stage, it's just for me it's just so nerve-wracking. I almost like I know that I'm a very good cook, but when I'm on the show, it's not even anybody else that intimidates me. It's just the pressure of being on that show and the randomizer. It makes me feel like I'm worthless. Does that make sense? Like I don't even know how to cook.
Well, I'm famously like I choke in really high intense pressure situations like that. Like I think about. I mean, this is not even comparative, but the first time I cooked for my husband, I think I'm a good cook, and the first time I cooked for my husband, I totally fucked up everything. And like,
you're divorced after this or what? So the pressure's up.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I just like that's why I'll never be able to be on a cooking competition show.
Because I handle pressure really well. It's not even pressure, it's just the mind fuck that you the randomizer.
Yeah.
And I have to figure out a strategy or how to cope with it, because if I want to go far, I have to overcome it.
Well, it does seem like most of TOC is your strategy. Like that's why like the people like Manit had her strategy down to a T and she became unbeatable. So they had to take her out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like if you think about like Indian cuisine, like flavors are very pronounced, very robust. Like you can't do subtle cooking. It has the have impact, which is why like you'll see a lot of the chefs, the first thing they'll grab is like fish sauce or MSG, oyster sauce. Those are the things that they'll grab from a strategic standpoint. But yeah, there's so many of us that are that are on 2OC in our hotel rooms. Literally, they have support groups and they're studying. They're studying like all the things on the randomizer.
Wow.
People have spreadsheets down.
Amazing.
Kenny is like, gosh, he's like a razor. He's so disciplined. He has everything, like he's built like models to like come up with different randomizer results.
Wow.
You know, and then you have Britt, who has her own strategy, and she's telling me this year is like, dude, you have to join my study group. We're gonna get like, that's the reason why I made it far. I just go in there with this blank slate. I'm like, you know what?
Oh my God.
I need this clutter. I just want to go focus, and that's it. But obviously, it doesn't work for me. So
sorry.
No, what were you gonna say?
We have interviewed so many people from TOC, and you were the first person who told us about the existence of study groups. This is blowing my mind.
Gosh, it goes on, you know, like there's people that don't study, there's people that go out, get drunk, there's people that smoke, like, and then there's people that are serious.
Yeah.
And you know, this last season, Kenny, was it Kenny's first season in TOC?
Yeah.
He made it really, really far.
Yeah.
Everybody was so incredibly impressed with his performance, with his discipline, his study. Like he would share his notes and all this, and I'm just like, dude, this guy is like on another level.
Yeah. I mean, but then you also have people like Jet who does great every season and then took those classes with a like marine vet or something like like learn how to like focus
for the emotional stress. Yeah.
Jet is a veteran. He's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like saying like, this has got to be Jet's year. You know, he knows Asian cookery like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
Knows how to play the game. He knows the randomizer, and you know, it's just a matter of time before he wins.
Oh yeah, totally.
I know. I hope so.
Yeah, we joke around like I'm gonna throw my TV out the window if he doesn't win at least once. You know?
Okay, so you ended up losing in the next round to Shirley Chung, who we were saying like that's got to be the best person to lose to because everyone wants her to win. And you mentioned that you are also a cancer survivor.
I am.
Wow.
Yeah. So I want to say it was what year was this? It was 2021 when I got diagnosed with not one but two very rare forms of lymphoma.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So I woke up one morning, this is during COVID, and I felt this little dime-sized lump on the upper inner left side of my thigh, like right near my lymph nodes. And, you know, like, I want to say like the younger me at that time, like I probably wouldn't even have batted an eye. Like I wouldn't care. But something told me to keep an eye on it, you know? So I kept an eye on it for about a week, and then I decided to call my dermatologist and told him like I have this lump. So they set an appointment for me. I went in there. They looked at it. They did some scans on it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's a cyst. We're gonna put you on some antibiotics, and super strong antibiotics." I want to say about the third or the fourth day that passed, it started to become tender and getting bruised. So I called them up again. I told them that. So they admitted me right away, and then they looked at it, and they got to the hospital. They looked at it, and they're like, you know, we're going to cut into it, and we're going to manually push out the cyst. I'm like, okay. So, you know, this really cool doctor comes in. I remember her because she was really pretty. She was young, and she had the coolest like Nikes on. She starts looking at it, and then she has her assistant come in, and she numbs the area up, and then she starts cutting into it. And then she's pressing it, and I could see by her facial expression, she was confused as it's coming out. So she leaves, and then another doctor comes in, and then the doctor's, you know, poking and prodding, and then she leaves, and another doctor comes in, and then I'm like sitting here, I'm like, okay, like this is a problem. So I just jokingly asked, I'm like, oh, is this cancer? She looks at me, the doctor looks at me, and she's like, you know, we don't know.
Oh,
You're in there. Will you allow us to biopsy it? I'm like, yeah. So they biopsy it. And then about a week and a half later, the results came back as ALCL, which is anaphylactic large T-cell lymphoma. Jeez. And I remember getting the call. It was early morning. It was on a Tuesday. I was actually getting ready to head to the airport to take my FAA written exam because I was a student pilot at that time and
Whoa.
like pilot, you know. So I remember getting the call, being in shock and not knowing how to react. I called my brother and I kind of broke down and I told him not to tell my parents. And then I went in to test, or I went in to take my test and I totally just bombed the test.
Ugh.
And then, you know, I come home and then we're just trying to figure things out. And luckily, there is a facility here called the Huntsman Cancer Institute, which is like top cancer treatment facilities in the nation. So I got assigned a doctor there that happens to be the leading oncologist regarding this type of cancer. And then shortly after that diagnosis, I had my annual dermatology exam. So when I moved out here about, at that time, 15 years ago, I had developed like psoriasis. Um, so, you know, the doctors prescribed steroids and all that stuff for me. So it just so happens that I had an appointment. So I go to the doctors to see my doctors regarding my rashes. And then they're looking at my charts. They noticed that I had just been diagnosed with ALCL. So they start to look at my rashes in a totally different manner.
Wow.
They're like, you know, your rashes, now that we're looking at it, it's not behaving like psoriasis because it only appears basically where your body doesn't get a lot of light. So under my arms, behind my knees, behind my thighs, and on my buttocks. So they ended up biopsying a bunch of places. And then I came back as MF, so which is mycosis fungoides. So literally, I was at the airport. I was in line boarding a plane to fly to New York to film Bobby's Triple Threat.
Oh gosh.
And the doctor told me that my rashes are in fact a type of lymphoma. So you know, I go into New York and I have this on my mind, and then, you know, the next morning I had to compete against the Titans. But, you know, the great thing about cooking is that I got to focus on the cooking, and that whole week just focused on my cooking and focused on celebrating that I won and not to think about, you know, the cancer. But yeah, you know, I came back and then reality sets in. Here I have 2 rare cancers. And luckily for me, after more testing and all that stuff, the 2 cancers are totally unrelated. And I didn't have to go through like chemo. I didn't have to go through like any of that stuff. Yeah, so I'm made whole again. But it was like probably one of the scariest years of my life. And yeah, so, you know, they put me up against Shirley, and like, you know, here we are, 2 cancer survivors, you know, she didn't go through what Shirley went through because what she had was like 100 times worse. But as far as losing, you know, I was honored to lose the answer because she deserves it. Not that she was cancer, but she cooked her ass off. She had a better dish. She's been doing it for a long time. So if anybody deserved to win, it's her.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like that everyone was rooting for Shirley, not because they weren't rooting for you, but just because it was so exciting to have her back in the competition after she had been gone. So yeah, if you had to lose, it was probably a good person to lose to. Whereas if you lost to certain other people who will not be named, we would have been much more pissed.
That's for after the podcast.
Yeah, we have our favorites. I mean, I don't think it's much of a secret, but we won't shit talk while you're here. So, are you going to be back for TOC Christmas or TOC 8?
So, you know, in the past, when you make it into TOC and you win your first round, I feel like you're guaranteed a spot again for the next season. I haven't got the phone call yet, but I'm pretty sure that I'll be back. TOC 8.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you there.
If I don't, then, like, you know, forgive me for giving you that.
We'll riot, so don't worry.
I feel like one of my goals is that we will have interviewed the whole bracket before it starts, you know?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
So anything that's gone past the first round will be back unless there's scheduling conflicts,
Right.
or somebody's sick or something like that.
Well, we can't wait to see you on TOC8. Can't
Yeah.
wait. So we should start wrapping up. But do you have any upcoming TV appearances we can look out for?
Yeah, so I'm currently on Triple G's Global Games.
Yes.
Wednesday will be an episode that I'm on. I was on last Wednesday, and this Wednesday I'll be on. I don't know who wins, but I'll be on. And then I filmed Wild Card Kitchen again recently. I don't know when that airs, and like I mentioned, I was on a couple Bobby shows that will air sometime this year.
Awesome.
But other than that, that's pretty much it for now. And then let me think if there's any other shows that's in the pipeline. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
but
are
you're
there any
the first to know what I know.
Awesome. Oh, are there any other competitions that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Any other competitions that I want to do that I haven't done yet? I would love. I know that there's rumors of 24 and 24 All Stars. It's going to be this coming season. So this season they're going to be filming in September, I believe.
Okay.
But season 5, so they're filming season 4 this year. Season 5 is next year, and I believe that season 5 is going to be an all-star season, and I hope to be a part of that. I really enjoyed being on 24. It was very hard, and I pushed myself to the limits, but I felt like I could do more knowing what I know now. And then, any outdoor cooking stuff, I really, really enjoy it.
Ooh.
I'm a big backpacker, forager, survivor. Those are
I would
Castaways.
What was that?
Chopped Castaways. They just finished.
Saw that.
Yeah.
I actually I was interviewing for that show, and I didn't get it because I guess they wanted. I don't know. I guess they wanted lesser known chefs.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah.
There was one chef that I remember. She was like on an earlier season of Top Chef, like a while back. But other than that, it was like other people were new faces.
Well,
so.
here's what.
It was on 24 and 24, but he got eliminated in the first round. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you should do a show where, like, you take someone backpacking with you and you guys cook in the woods.
Yes.
As, like, more of, like, like an old school Food Network cooking show, not a competition, Like, that would be really cool.
That's a great idea.
I love that.
We could do, like, a podcast or something like that.
Yeah. Take us camping with you. We'll go. Debbie and I love to camp.
We camp every year.
Yeah. So tell us, this is the most important question I have of the whole interview. Tell us a little bit about your cat.
Oh, you can grab him real quick. Hold on.
Yes! Watch on YouTube if you want to see Viet's cat.
Yes, I love this. Oh my God! Hi.
That's a good boy.
Theo is a Bengal. Theo was a wedding gift to me and my wife back in 2019. So he was delivered to us December of 2019. So a family friend of ours are Bengal breeders out of Austin, and they gifted Theo. And, at that time, my wife, Alexis, she was pregnant, and then she ended up having a late-term miscarriage. And Theo was there at the right time, and he like filled that void. It was like one of the hardest things, which is why it's so meaningful to us. But he's not just a cat, but I see him as, he's like our child, and he's everywhere with us. He's more like a dog than he is a cat. He's leash trained. He swims. He hikes. He backpacks. He forages with me.
Wow.
But yeah, he's my son, and you guys saw him on my apron, and you do these shows, one of the things they always ask you is like, oh yeah, like who are you doing this for? What are you gonna do with your money? And people will talk about like, oh yeah, like this is gonna be for my wedding, or this is gonna be for my family vacation, or for the business. And I just I put myself in a very selfless moment. I'm like, like this is for my cat Thea.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to build this huge, outdoor catio, for him. So he, aside from my wife and our families, he's what really brings me a lot of joy. And I
That's
never
great.
Are you a Jackson Galaxy fan?
a Jackson Galaxy fan. I don't know who that is.
Oh my God. You have to check him out since you're such a cat lover. He has a show, My Cat from Hell. It's on Discovery Plus, but he's just the biggest cat lover, and he has like so many cool videos about like catios and things like that. You have to check out Jackson Galaxy.
Jackson Galaxy. I'm going to write that down. Jackson Galaxy.
He's the best for cat lovers. And we're a big cat loving family too. We had two. Sadly, one of our cats passed away a little over a year ago. But the other day, my daughter, we were out. There was a stray cat. I told her not to pet it because, I was worried about it. And she said to me, that is really rude to say to someone who loves cats. So
I have a question for you though, because you also mentioned your IVF journey with your wife, and obviously, like if you're not comfortable talking about this, we get it.
There's so many people that reached out, and I haven't even had a chance to respond to everybody. But people are like, if you have a GoFundMe, like we're going to donate to it. And all these people have reached out. They have connections with IVF, offices and all that stuff. People have been so great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what was your question?
Well, no, I mean, that was kind of it. Like, are you still continuing? Like, is that still the goal? Are you?
I ask Alexis this all the time. Alexis, come say hi.
Oh.
He's like, come here, say hi.
Yes, come say hi.
Let's say hi. Come on. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so you know what, I don't know, we talk about it. We're like in the middle of our careers where like right now we have almost 100 people that we look after, and like our business is growing, and we always ask ourselves, it's like, are we going to be able to manage a baby at this time? And honestly, I don't know, because it's actually really scary to think about worrying about all these other things. But part of the plan of moving back to California is eventually, hopefully, like we're going to settle down and then, maybe have a baby. And, we were just reading an article. There's more people now having babies in their 40s than they were in their 30s. So,
yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We, both Rachel and I both had our kids later. I mean, we both
we're both geriatric moms for sure.
So we had geriatric pregnancies. Yeah. And, it's such a weird thing, because I feel like I'm so glad that I had my kids later in life, because I know so much more now. I like understand stuff that I would not have understood if I was like young and dumb and
like I feel like where we are in our lives, it's all about like growth, right? And I don't think we're going to achieve this certain growth without having a child in our life and being able to take care and nurture this child and build them up to like these little adults one day that hopefully will make a better world, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like right now, I want to say like we, in a lot of ways, we live like a very selfish lifestyle. It's work, and then we get to do whatever we want to do, travel wherever we want to travel, and not have to worry about another person other than our cat.
Yeah.
And already with our cat, like we have to like juggle a lot of different things. Like who's going to watch the cat? Just take him everywhere with us. But yeah, the goal is eventually, if she's ready and she's down for it, eventually.
Well, you can strap that baby in a carrier, bring them on your foraging trips too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. People do that all the time here in Utah.
Exactly. That, I mean,
totally,
like, especially those younger years where they can't like run off into anything.
I mean, I don't know what your plans are, but I'm an only child mom. And when you just have one, then you can take them everywhere. It's easy,
Yeah, that's our goal too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
twins or triplets or something like that.
His family. So
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, we're rooting for you guys so much. I mean, like,
Yes. It was so nice to meet you, Alexis. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start wrapping up. You know how we end the podcast every week. We want to hear where to find you and everything, but we have to talk about what we are having for dinner tonight. I know it's early for you, probably, especially with your child-free lifestyle. So, Debbie, do you want to go first? What you're having for dinner tonight?
Yeah, sure. Well, I made the chicken chili verde from Serious Eats it's like my go-to when I don't have a lot of space to cook with, because it's all like one pot and go. And it's you can do it as a pressure cooker thing or a slow cooker thing or whatever you want to do. But I also have a show tonight to go to, a comedy show at Union Hall, and I haven't eaten there in a while. So I was like, maybe I'll just save the chili for myself for tomorrow, and my family can have it, and I'll just eat there. So
sounds great.
Yeah.
What about you, Viet? Do you know what you're going to have for dinner tonight?
Yeah, so I was with my in-laws this past weekend, and they bought a bunch of chicken thighs that I ended up marinating, and they ended up roasting it, and we took a bunch of the chicken thighs back home. So they're just basically chicken thighs that I'd marinated in some turmeric, some herbs, yogurt, and a bunch of other spices.
Yum.
So we had 4 chicken thighs, and at the airport today, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm at the airport, when it comes to food, like I feel like anything goes. Things that I would never eat in like a day. I'm just like, I'm all for it. So it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're eating nachos, and then this family sits next to us, and they went to Panda Express, and they had orange chicken. I never ever in my normal life outside of the airport ever go to Panda Express or even eat this. And I'm like, I'm going to get some orange chicken. So we have orange chicken left over and rice that we're going to have with our chicken tonight.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
I also am a Panda Express while traveling, even though I live in a very Chinese neighborhood and have amazing access to like Chinese food. But
it's like, I think it's like the stress and the anxiety of being in the airports, eating these type of foods, it just calms you down. And you're being hugged.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, an orange chicken, because of the orange, it's basically breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Right, which is why I would never eat this for breakfast. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have. What about you?
So my husband right now is making grilled cheese. We got some farmer's market sourdough yesterday. He's making grilled cheese. I'm going to make a salad. I'm so happy I got the farmer's market lettuce. So for like the first time in a week, I'm going to eat lettuce without being scared of it. But also yesterday I made, because we had blueberries that before we knew that it was the Taylor Farms lettuce or whatever, I had blueberries we got at the grocery store that I was scared to eat. So I made those into a compote, and I made some blueberry compote thumbprint cookies, which I'm not like a big cookie maker, but we have leftover. They were so good, and we'll have those also. So these are my my parasite safe foods.
Can I ask you this? What cheese do you use in your sandwich?
So my husband likes Munster in his grilled cheese.
Interesting.
But my only grilled cheese I really like to eat is a sharp cheddar. That's just, I mean, I'll have a fancy one too. Like if you make me one that's like brie and fig compote or whatever, I'll eat that. But like if this for like a basic grilled cheese, I need it to be a sharp cheddar.
I'm surprised you're not a Swiss person either.
I mean, I like Swiss in certain situations, but grilled cheese, sharp cheddar.
Yeah.
I'm just a processed cheese kind of guy.
Classic.
And by the way, I love Serious Eats. I always look up Serious Eats.
They're so great.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I cook. I feel like that we're always on this podcast recommending Serious Eats recipes. Hi, Otis. Okay, well, we should get going because it's dinner time here for all these children. But Viet, where should we follow you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. It's Chef Viet Pham, Pham. Yeah, just at Chef Viet Pham. You can follow me.
Awesome. It was so great speaking to you and talking to you. We were so happy to have you here.
And thanks so much for carving out the time out of your busy days for having me on the show.
Oh, you're awesome. Come back anytime, honestly.
Hello. You've been. Oh, hi, Otis. You've been on our list for a while of people we want to interview. So we're so happy to talk to you. Everyone, please rate, review, subscribe. If you want to see Viet's beautiful cat and his beautiful wife, you can watch us on YouTube, which we are also doing now. I'm also going to post. I took a screen grab of the cat. I'm going to post that on Instagram. And follow us. Leave us a rating or review. If you have something bad to say, DM Debbie.
Yes,
not me.
I will take the hate mail.
Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Debbie wants the vitriol. She wants to hear what people are saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Sheena?
Oh, that's my daughter. Sheena is staying in the other room with her dad.
She's in the other room with her dad.
But Otis, we have to do a play date soon. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much. And for now, I think it's time for us to go for the protein.
Go for the protein.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Moms of Flavor Town, go for the protein and PYKAG. Ooh, yeah. Moms of Flavor Town, unicorn.